Joining us now are two gentlemen, Surinder Kapur, the chairman of Setco Steering Systems, and Harish Sheth, the chairman and managing director of Setco Automotive, join us on our new segment, Mid-Caps on the Move. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you and thank you for joining us on the show. Mr. Sheth, I want to start off with you because not too many people are aware that Setco Automotive is the largest manufacturer of clutch assemblies for the commercial vehicle sector in India. So you would be able to give us a clear indication of whether things are really picking up on the ground, because you do supply to a lot of companies like Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, etc. What is your view on how the situation has improved?
Market to improve a lot. Generally, commercial vehicle manufacturers are thinking of probably about 30 to 40% growth in the second half or the first half. That's the kind of indication they are giving in some of the meetings I've had. And with the growth in infrastructure and feel-good factor, transporters have come forward and started buying the vehicles. So we feel that OE demand will increase considerably. We are also in the aftermarket business in a big way, and with the infrastructure improvement, commercial vehicles movement will improve considerably as there will be money in the economy.
Okay.
So we are looking at a very positive next 5 years.
Okay. Mr. Sheth, you said that commercial vehicle guys are telling you that there is a 30%, expecting a 30% improvement in sales. Your own first quarter numbers show a revenue growth of 49%. What are the orders you have got? Are the orders for FY15 30% better, or is it even better, 50% better for you?
Our business is divided into three parts. One is OE, one is aftermarket, and one is exports. In the first quarter, exports and aftermarket both grew considerably, and OE also in certain areas grew considerably. The movement is moving towards the bigger vehicles, and that naturally the value will be more. So considering that the growth is coming, and we expect the same thing to continue throughout the year.
Okay. Let's get Surinder Kapur, the chairman of Setco Steering Systems, as well into this discussion. Setco provides steering systems to a whole host of OEMs, so he'll be able to give us an indication of how much things have picked up in the passenger vehicle segment as well. Mr. Kapur, good morning and thank you for joining us. Is it a lot of the inventory build-up that we've seen in this month that has resulted in higher sales, or do you think in general the worst is over for the passenger vehicle sector?
Well, I think there's no question that the worst is over. I think August sales, you've probably seen a mix of inventory reduction as well as new production. So I think generally one can make a very clear statement, categorical statement, that the worst is over, that the fact that growth is here to stay. The question is how much growth. I think having seen quarter one GDP growth at 5%, 5.7%, I think it tells us that things are improving. I mean, there are all indicators that things are improving.
Okay. Mr. Kapur, your own first quarter numbers was a dramatic turnaround on the net front. It was a profit of 3.5 crore. But more importantly, operating margins were at 12.5 compared to 9. EBITDA was 52% higher, but revenues were up only 11%. So is it that you all are going to see greater capacity utilization? And how will you extrapolate all these numbers for the full year? What will revenues grow? Will it be way more than 11%?
No, I don't think it'll be way more than 11%. I think, as Mr. Sheth discussed earlier, everybody's now looking at a mix of earlier, for instance, Setco was heavily concentrated on domestic OEMs. Now we're getting into the overseas market. So I think we're getting a mix of products, customers into the fold of the company. But looking at our EBITDA margin improvement, which we focus on, I think is mainly because of reduction in costs that we have implemented in the company. It's an improvement in material costs by way of localization, etc. So I think we will see improvements in margins this year. I don't believe the sales are going to be that much more than what we've already seen because there is a pickup. But you know, the pickup is of various models. It's not a general pickup. For instance, you've seen Maruti, Honda etc. pick up. Tatas and Mahindras did not pick up in August. So I think you'll see a mixture of vehicles or platforms which will do well or not do so well. But I think the important thing to focus on is that generally the economy is improving, generally the automotive industry is improving, and I think we'll see better results in the months to come and in the years to come.
You don't see the industry needing to do Capex anytime soon?
No, I think, look, most of the, at least in the passenger car, most of us have built up capacity. We're all working at around 60-65% capacity utilization. So immediately there is not going to be a need. But most certainly this tells us that we will begin the Capex cycle by the end of this year. My company, for instance, has been doing close to 70-80 crores per year for the last 3 years in terms of Capex, because we have been improving efficiencies, we have been getting ready for the business to grow, and I think we've got enough RFQs which tells us that once the economy really kick-starts, we will get a lot more business than we've had in the past.
Mr. Sheth, a lot of analysts are pegging in a solid export growth for Setco Automotive that could be the next trigger for the company going ahead. How much does exports currently contribute to your overall revenues, and by the end of next year, how much do you think you could take it to?
Well, this year it has been around 10%, but by the time end of next year, on increased sales, we could be around between 15 to 20%.
Okay. Does your sector need Capex already? What is the capacity utilization?
Capacity utilization, as Mr. Kapur said, it's not that very high. It's around maybe about 70% in our case. So towards the end of the year, to meet the demand of the following year, that's year 15-16, we'll have to do Capex starting early part of the next year.
Okay. Mr. Kapur,
immediate, there is no need for us to do any Capex.
Okay. Mr. Kapur, you will be able to give us a true indication of what's actually happening in terms of competition because of the fact that you supply to so many. How much of your revenues comes in from Maruti, and what are the other, or rather, who are the other players who are actually picking up in terms of market share, where you expect to see higher orders coming in from?
Well, you know, Maruti is about 45% of our revenue, which is really for what their market share is. I think the other main customers we have are Mahindras, are Honda, Ford, Nissan, Toyota, and all of them seem to be doing well right now. And I think they will continue to do well. I just read this morning that Anand Mahindra stated they're coming out with a slew of new models, as well as refurbishing some of the older models. So I think you'll see it's going to be a competitive market. I think it's going to be a growing market. I think the automotive mission plan, which said that 2015-16 we would reach 5 million, we are 2 million behind.
Okay.
I think we'll catch up in 2 years' time. So I see a good growth for the passenger car industry in India. Okay,
so we are running out of time, but I just want one answer from both of you. Mr. Sheth, do you think you will ever be able to raise prices, or at least up until the end of the year that will not be possible because there's enough capacity?
No, already the automotive manufacturers have started granting price increase. We have been able to raise some percentage price increase this year, which has helped us in our bottom line.
How much? What?
And we expect towards the later part of the it's varying anything from 2 to 5%.
And towards the later part of the year, how much might you be able to?
Hello. Maybe we'll be able to increase a similar percentage again. That's from April next year, early part.
Okay. And Mr. Kapur?
Because last year there was no price increase was given.
Okay. Fair enough. Mr. Kapur, same question.
I think Lata, it's difficult to say what price increases one gets. I think most of us in the passenger car industry work on a price over the contract period. So I don't think there's specific price increases, but I can say that there have been problems of pricing in the past. Those have been adjusted by customers, where we've been able to demonstrate that these prices are not need correction. So I think by and large, and also remember, in an increasing market, customers are willing to part with some of it rather than when there's a declining market.
Fair
So
point.
since we've come out of a declining market, I think we should all be in a happy situation, the customers as well as the suppliers.
All right. Mr. Kapur, Mr. Seth, unfortunately out of time. Thank you very much for putting all that color on the automobile and the auto ancillary sector.